Today, I want to take a brief look at the first story of creation in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, as an example of how, in my series, we are looking for the historical context and meanings of the stories in the Hebrew scriptures. So, the first story of creation begins with God in a position of transcendence, looking over what he is about to create. The first three verses of chapter 1 of Genesis tell us that God is not creating everything out of nothing, but rather that God is creating order out of a watery kind of chaos. That's something that was not unusual for the ancient peoples of the time when this story would have been narrated and written down. The belief was that the God who could control the sea, who could control chaos, was the supreme God. And so the author of this first story of creation is saying that God is indeed the supreme God. He can create order out of a watery chaos. So God creates by his word. He directs his creation by saying, "Let there be light. Let there be water above the dome of the heavens and waters below the dome. Let there be plants and animals. And finally, let there be human beings." And what's striking about God's creation of the human beings is that he says that they should be created in his very image. So there are some things we can learn. There are meanings we can take from this story. Rather than asking the question, is this actually the way it took place? It's more important and more fruitful to look at what the meanings of the story are. First of all, that it is God who creates. Creation is not just random. It's not just luck. Second, that whatever God created is good. God affirms at the end of every day of creation that what he has created is good and, in fact, very good. Third, that God has a plan for creation. God intended to create. God created us and he created the world on purpose. Why? So that someday we could be reunited with him. And finally, the story says that each one of us, each human being, is created in the very image and likeness of God. And because of that, we have tremendous dignity. To look at our fellow human beings is to look at the very image of God.